Well, we all like to make a bit of money on the side, don't we? So let's see what these people have been up to. Hi, it's me again, and as they promised, the BBC have published their quarterly external events register. It doesn't sound riveting, and it's not going to be the longest video I've ever made, but it is interesting because, have a look. The BBC will publish a quarterly summary for paid-for external events undertaken by on-air staff in journalism and senior leaders in order to promote the highest standards of impartiality, blah, 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 right? But it's interesting because they publish the name of the person that done it, what they did, and how much they got paid for doing something outside of the BBC. That's interesting. That is interesting, and I bet the people at the BBC, they don't like it. They don't like it up, and Mr. Mannering. So let's have a look. 2022. Let's pick a month. Let's pick September. External events register for September 22. If you want to look at all of these, I'm not going to talk about them all. I'll put a link in the description because you can have a look. This is public information, and you can have a look. And some of them are quite interesting. Let's see if we can pick a couple out. Oh, look, Naga Manchetti. So she's chief presenter for news and current affairs, and she hosted Businesswoman Awards by Verve Clicquot, and she got between 5 and 10 grand for that one event. Yeah, it's tough at the top. And you're not supposed to use the image you've gained via the BBC to make money on the side. That's why Nick Knowles got in trouble for doing the Shreddies advert dressed as a builder. But she's a chief presenter for news and analysis, and she was presenting Businesswoman of the Year awards by Verve Clicquot. How's that not using the image she gained from the BBC to make money on the side? One rule for one rule for the other. I want to see if there's Lineker in here. Hang on. Cool, this one proves I'm in the wrong job. Have a look. Sarah Montague, who works for news and current affairs at the BBC, worked privately as an interviewer at the Goodwood Festival of Speed and got between 5 and 10 grand. Blimey, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. That's a dream job, isn't it? A Festival of Speed, interviewing the drivers and the car people. And oh, God. Tough at the top, eh, love? Hugh Edwards, who works for News and Current Affairs, hosted the British Insurance Brokers Association, something or other, whatever, AGM, I don't know, for over £10,000. Definitely not using the image he's gained through working at the BBC to make money on the side. Tough gig, that. Over 10 grand for a night's work. I don't normally get out of bed for that much, but if they need help in the future, they can always give me a call, I guess. Stephen Sacker, who works for News and Current Affairs, was a moderator at the European Chemical Industry Council for between 5 and 10 grand. So he works in News and Current Affairs at the BBC, and he's being paid to be a moderator for the European Chemical Industry Council, and they're paying him. So do you think that whatever he does for News and Current Affairs at the BBC, if there's a story about the chemical industry that might be negative, do you think he may be swayed into not talking about it or not publishing it or not doing something with that story because he's received a lot of money from the chemical industry? Work there as a moderator. These things you have to think about, right? Nick Robinson, who works for News and Current Affairs, was a speaker at the Association of Investment Companies, and he earned between £5,000 and £10,000. Nick Robinson, who does financial stuff for the BBC, worked as a speaker for the Association of Investment Companies. That is using the image he gained via the BBC to work privately. All right, he declared it to the BBC, as is his duty to do, but does that sound right to you? It doesn't sound right to me. And also, isn't he a current affairs editor or financial affairs editor or something? And now he's in bed with the Association of Investment Companies. Does it not sound like a conflict of interest also? Because it does to me. So this is March 2022, and I've got two for Hugh Edwards on here. Look, host for the Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment. And then there's another one down here where he was host for Bauer Media. And there's another one, look, a third. Host for UMAL, don't know what that is, between 5 and 10 grand as well. So in that month, Hugh Edwards did 3 private speaking events where he could have earned £10,000 a shot. God, it's tough. Tough being Hugh Edwards, eh? And you're one of the highest earners at the BBC as well. And I'm not having a dig. Everyone's allowed to make a bit of money on the side. We all like to make a little bit of money on the side. Right. But there's got to be a conflict of interest somewhere in some of these. And it, as a public body, the BBC shouldn't be allowing it. If they want to do this sort of thing, they need to go off, work for a commercial company, don't they? Because they don't mind making a bit of commercial cash on the side, do they? So as I said, I'll put a link to this down in the description. There's months and months of it. Go through, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed how much these people are making on the side. Even nobodies that you haven't heard of are doing like $1,000 to $5,000 on speaking events and stuff like that. I am in the wrong business. I tell you. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon. Ta-da.